Hello everyone and welcome to another After Effects tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to rotate the hands on the clock with no keyframes. So the first thing you want to do is create a new shape layer. I like to name all my layers. It's not necessary, but I actually like to know exactly what layer I'm working on. So you're going to name your layer and we're going to add a new ellipse. Now we're going to add a new fill, and this is going to be our actual clock. I'm going to change the color to a white right now. You can make it any color that you would like, and I'm going to scale it up. After that, I'm going to add a gradient ramp to my clock layer. So right now, this is just me going through, changing it from linear to radio, pinpointing the start ramp, and just adjusting the color slightly. This is an optional step, but this is just something I like to do to add a little bit more depth to the clock. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer, and it's going to be another shape layer. I'm going to name my shape layer, and this is going to be the border layer. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle down and I'm going to add a new ellipse. Then I'm going to add a new stroke, and I'm going to adjust the thickness of the stroke a bit. Next thing I'm going to do is increase the size so that way it's on the border of the circle. After I do that, I am going to increase the thickness a little bit more of the stroke width. Now the next step is I'm going to add yet another shape layer. So I'm actually creating this clock with only shape layers, no graphics that I created in another program. All of this is going to be done inside After Effects, and this is actually going to be the circle. So we're going to create a new ellipse, and then we are going to add a fill. It can be any color that you like. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a repeater. This is the most important step. So I want to make 12 copies, and it's very important to scroll down to the repeater transform and make sure the position is at 0. Next thing, I'm going to go to the rotation and do 360 divided by 12. You won't see anything until you go up and you change the position. Now you see they're all equally spaced around the circle. The next thing I want to do is just add a drop shadow to add a little bit more depth to these circles so they kind of pop out a little bit. Now I'm going to create a new shape layer. This is going to be my minute hand. Now we are going to add a rectangle this time, and we are going to add a fill. It can be any color that you like. Next thing you want to do is adjust the size of this and the position so it's lined up with the center anchor point. I increased the roundness to get rid of that hard edge. Now what I'm going to do is duplicate the layer, and I'm going to create an hour hand. So I'm just going to change the color, change the size of this, and then I'm going to position the anchor point again. Now we're going to do another shape layer. This is the last shape layer. This is just going to be another ellipse, and it's going to be kind of the center circle. You can add any color that you like, and then you're going to fill. So I'm just going to change this to a white. Now I'm going to add a drop shadow just to kind of give it a little bit more depth and soften the shadow. I am going to press R for rotation. I'm going to press Alt and the stopwatch, and I'm going to enter my expression. So this is the most important step. This is how you're going to animate the hands on the clock without having to do a million keyframes. Now the minute hand is rotating 12 times faster than the hour hand because on a clock, every time the minute hand hits 12, then it hits a new hour. So this is just representing the clock hands. So my next step is I'm just going to cut the composition down. I had this at 45 seconds for whatever reason. So I'm just going to change this to 5 seconds. And my next step is just preview. So I'm just going to preview the clock, and every time the minute hand hits the 12, the hour hand hits a new hour. So it's a pretty simple way to edit a clock. My next step is I'm just going to add a motion blur, so that way the hands do have a blur as they rotate. Now this is really all you need to do. I just want to add a background, so I'm just going to add a new solid. I'm going to name it background. I'm just going to have a gray color. The color really doesn't matter because I'm going to put a ramp on it. So I'm going to click on gradient ramp, and I'm just going to adjust the colors, do another radial ramp, just to get my desired kind of a vignette effect. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the opacity on the clock layer, and I'm going to drag that on top of the border layer. So there you go. This is how you animate a clock with absolutely no keyframes in just under 6 minutes. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.